Welcome to week 3 of Platinum BOL. I am your color host, Eternal Cries, and with my play-by-play caster, Ra. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing good. A little less tired than last week, so hopefully the shot calling will be a little more fresh for you all this
I
evening.
felt like your
But
shot calling was perfectly fine. I didn't see anything wrong with it.
well, I appreciate that very much. And obviously, I got the 2-1 last week. What did you vote this week for Collective Sigma and Spectre?
So I believe I voted for Collective, if I recall. I don't think it's gonna be a clean 2. I think it'll be a 2-1. But let me check. Yeah, I voted Collective Sigma 2-1. So that
Yeah,
was my prediction.
I'm also on the side of Collective Sigma this
Hey,
evening.
let's
But
go.
yeah,
Let's
so we're
go.
on a team for the first time, which is oh no, it's the first week we were on a team as well. But
I mean,
last
yeah, I
week
guess
we
so.
obviously had our rivalry, but tonight it's all about caster cursing Spectre. But I have gone for the 2-0 for the side of Collective Sigma.
And already you got the blue pick side for Zeri round 1. I mean, she's already a strong pick we've seen. So I'm curious if they'll go the Yumi route. Yumi is still open as a support option.
Yeah, and Tristana Volibear picked up on the other side. The ADC player is known for their Tristana. Played it a lot last season, not so much this season, but the Jinx is obviously banned out. The classic hyper carry currently in season 12. So interesting to see what they're picking. And a Trundle being hovered at the moment for the side of Sigma on pick 2.
So yeah, it's just a little bit more disengaged, right? Gives her more breathing room to essentially do auto attacks. If you lock down Zeri hard and constant, she's not gonna be able to pop off. She's not gonna get that distance to do all of her abilities. Thresh pickup again, a little more disengaged. You have a Flay, you have his ultimate giant prison box. No one can get through with that. So significantly slows them down. So yeah, it's not a bad pickup. So they definitely want to make sure that this bot lane is nice and secure for the mid and late game.
Yeah, and both teams not giving anything away at all with their fourth and fifth picks. Obviously, both looking like they're going to be mid and top. Volibear could obviously flex himself into the top lane, but currently it's kind of looking like a jungle pick with what they've picked up so far. Seraphine locked in third here, so it's most likely. Obviously, Seraphine is a flex pick as well, can be picked in the mid lane, but most likely going to be Seraphine Tristana bot.
Yeah, and even for the Trundle pick, right? I mean, it's a nice blind. You basically have a subjugate. You take all that extra armor and AP or MR off of them. You get some healing back. So it's not a blind pick into essentially what they want to do. Volibear can again as another flex pick for top side if they want to use Volibear top side. So with this, it'll kind of. I feel like if you're the side of Spectre, you don't want to give too much away. So I feel like you could pick your top laner here perfectly fine. Wait and see what they'll try and counteract with for Collective Sigma. Graves being taken away, so obviously they don't want that solo split pushing Hullbreaker Graves top lane.
Yeah, and obviously something they could do as well on the side of Spectre is actually pick their mid laner here and leave Volibear to have the choice of jungle and top lane. If their top laner and jungler both play it proficiently, it is an option
Right.
for them. Be interested to see what they pick here. Obviously, Hullbreaker it is the night before the nerf. So all the ranged top laners right now can still build Hullbreaker and be relevant. As of tomorrow, obviously that switches up. So hopefully tonight we'll see some last minute Hullbreaker action. But a Nico being hovered here and locked in for the fourth pick of the side of Spectre.
Feel like I'm getting flashbacks to the week 1 Nico ADC bot lane, so I don't think it's going to be bot lane this time around. But interesting pickup. I don't see that. How should I wear this? I don't see many proficient Nico players play her mid, is what I should say. At least in a gold platinum elo. I've seen it higher on, but not so much in lowercase. So we'll see how she can counteract that champion. Maybe she can get some lanes going. She gets her lane ahead with a Volibear ganks. Shen pickup again. This is a protect the Zeri comp. Let her do her thing. So, nice. Essentially win that matchup versus Volibear. Volibear should get the push and he should be able to control the matchup easily, unless Shen gets a little bit of help from the Trumbull early on.
Yeah, and obviously the Nico can be floating about and, good lockdown. And I think they're both playing kind of the same comp at the moment, which is protect the ADC. There isn't a lot of damage outside of the AD role currently. And a Rise picked up fifth here definitely does give them more damage and actually is really great currently for what Spectre have because of the fact that Rise does great when people run into him. Like he builds tankier than most mages. And yeah, he all round just does great with phase rush and disengaging and also just catching people off guard by how much damage he does. And it looks like it is going to be the Volibear jungle. And the Aatrox picked up in the top lane here, being hovered right now, and that is locked in. So Aatrox versus Shen, what's your opinion on that? How does that go?
So Aatrox should be able to bully the Shen early on. The main thing is you have to space out. I forget what his Q is called. You have to space it out, right? If you
Yeah.
miss that once, Shen is able to get that nice taunt. If he's going grasp, he gets that grasp proc as top of the extra damage from him. Back off a little bit. So Aatrox is all around that skill shot for that Q. Shen is just going to be kind of mitigating back and forth, weaving in and out to dodge that. As long as you dodge it, Shen wins the lane. If Aatrox can land it, Aatrox will win the lane.
Yeah, so it's definitely a volatile matchup, but it does look like pretty much all of the pressure from both teams here is going to be coming from the bot lane. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly they kind of play that out and how they go about getting the same lanes ahead. Because obviously, the way they're looking at it by the seams of it is that whoever gets ahead bot could potentially win the game. I think Nico and Rise, obviously, Nico will probably have the advantage early on, but Rise isn't a pushover in the early game and scales fantastically. Seraphine, obviously, something to watch out for as well. A lot of shielding and healing. So maybe it's the Zeri that's got to kind of pop off this game and really make things happen. Obviously, being great into the Seraphine with her passive, giving her shields when the enemy has shields.
Yeah, and her positioning is going to be essentially crucial in the mid game too, because if she gets caught out, well, your entire team comp falls apart. Yes, Rise is like you said, a very nice scaling mid laner. He could potentially provide a secondary source of damage, but Zeri, the way this comp is built, is particularly around her. So if she gets caught out by the Seraphine ultimate into a Volibear, piling on top, she's dead. Well, there goes half your team comp at that point. Now you're just relying on just backing up, and if you try and take any objective, you essentially can't with those numbers.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, and I'm excited to see the Nico. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be AD Nico this time, based on the team
Yeah,
comp.
no,
So
no, I don't think so
hopefully,
either.
it will have a little more success. But so based on just the draft alone, obviously not knowing any of the previous histories of the team, whose draft would you favor in this specific draft?
I feel like Collective has a better comp overall, just because of the fact that you have that Shen shield, you have Rise that can essentially get people in or out of fights, you have that nice Trundle pillar that essentially disengages. We talked about the Thresh earlier on. Whereas if you look on the side of Spectre, they have to go into them, and
Yeah,
Collective is all about disengage. So it's going to be extremely difficult to A, get on top of the Zeri and pin her down, but B, to provide enough pressure so she cannot escape that. So it's going to be the way the game's going to go is it's going to be a large amount of focus on just shutting down this bot lane.
yeah, definitely, and I think I would agree with you that Sigma definitely has the better comp. Obviously, counterpoints to that would be Tristana, Aatrox, and Nico. I would say are all very good at snowballing.
Yes.
So there is potential for Spectre to run away with the game very early on, but they are definitely going to be on a timer.
Yeah, they definitely, like you said, they definitely are. It's essentially them against the clock. If they're not able to win their lanes hard and push their advantage, you're going to stall behind, you're going to fall. Well, you have a Zeri and a Rise. Your time frame is essentially limited. So unless you completely stop the game early, it's going to work against you.
hmm And yeah, I believe we're just about to throw it over to a break just while we get into the spectator lobby and get everything ready to go. So we will be back in a few minutes with the game.
Welcome back to game one between TA Spectre and Collective Sigma as we have a possible invade for the right side of Spectre in their 5-man stack for Sigma.
Yeah, and they've just paused again. They're having some
Ah!
small issues, technical
Ah.
side. It's all, it's League of Legends. You have to expect it. Part of the game is pauses throughout, but all in all, they're coming into this first game. We were discussing in our quick break here how we think that Nico might be a bit of an interesting pick into the more meta champions. And I think we're both in agreement that we're excited to see the potential of Nico, but also the fact that we personally don't believe she's a fantastic champion. But there are some role swaps here today, just getting the game going and trying out some different things. So there is potential with players in different roles. So we'll have to see how the game goes here as the invade just kind of dissipates and nothing comes of it.
Yeah, just getting some information. As you saw for the side of Spectre, they have a little ward on the red side, so they know if they're going to start bottom, which they are. So that gives at least the Volibear a little more information about the Trundle's route. He should, yep, and they get spotted out, so at least the information. I assume on the side of Sigma, they saw him just go at the same time. Shen knows that Aatrox isn't coming to lane. He also didn't lose health, so he knows that Volibear should be leashing bot side. And yeah, so both junglers should be tracking each other. Volibear going to do a full blue to red side clear, whereas Trundle is actually skipping a couple of his camps to get that level 3 and potentially maybe either gank top or mid.
Yeah, and obviously the game's going to probably be quite slow as the junglers just clear out their first clear. They're both looking to be pathing towards the top side. Obviously, Trundle, you can see, has done a quick clear, just wants that free camp level 3,
Oh,
and
that's a
then
lot
the
of damage.
potential to go and influence the lane. And a bit of trading here in the bot side. Zeri obviously struggling in the early game with not being able to auto-attack through minions. It's the same kind of issue that Graves has in the early game.
Yeah, and it's just she just took an extra auto attack of from Tristana, and just you saw that health go from full to half, and she had to pop a pot. So did the Seraphine, but at the end of the day, you'd rather pop a pot and Seraphine heal yourself up. Whereas Tristana, if Zeri, excuse me, you don't have that Doran's Blaze, you don't have that nice little lifesteal built into the auto attack. So yeah, it's gonna be a little painful for her side, but you shouldn't have too much of an issue.
Yeah, she's just going to let the wave be pushed in. Obviously, Tristana has the inability to freeze a wave and to hold a wave back. She has to push. That's passive on her rocket, obviously. And as Trundle comes in here, pillaring the Aatrox, and it looks like he's going to be in a 1v2 situation, fighting in the minion wave. The minions are doing so much damage that Shen has to walk away. Manages to get out. The Trundle staying here, but the minion wave is just so big. The Trundle wants to go again, and now the volley bear is here. The bear is here for a 2v2. He's charging at the Trundle, but he gets away under the tower, and nothing comes of that. But that was a risky play from the side of Spectre there.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, you see him. They're trying to fire the Scuttle Crab, but Trundle gets it. But will he be able to escape? Nico does have the roam down, but they should be able to get out of this free. Yep, perfectly fine. Now, if you're the side of Spectre, you should be able to essentially go down and get that other Scuttle, but it's going to be very questionable if their bot lane responds, because that Scuttle should not go to Trundle. He should not be getting away with this.
Yeah, it's actually my fault. I got the teams the wrong way around. Spectre, obviously TA Spectre on the right-hand side got the Scuttle Crab, and also
Okay.
it was Collective Sigma that made the risky play. But yeah, Trundle here in the bot lane, but Tristana just rocket jumps on top of the Zeri, getting her very low, manages to jump back out, gets the bomb explosion, and that's just a great trade here as Volibear's walking down, just shutting down the Trundle, not giving him any space to breathe.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, you got to heal out of Tristana, but you got the heal and the exhaust out of the Thresh, so you got an extra summer spell. Plus, Tristana has not used a single potion the entire pot, if you want to call it, the entire time in bot lane, so she's going to be fine. I expect her to stick around, not have too much to worry about, where Zeri has used all of them. Again, I mentioned the fact she doesn't have that Doran's Blade, she doesn't have that built-in lifesteal, so they should be able to be punishing the Zeri. She doesn't have heal now, right? Just keep going in on her as the Volibear comes out of the bush.
Yeah. And a missed route there from the side of Volibear and Seraphine, but they get them anyway. The bomb explosion is so massive early on, and the Trundle's showing up, but he's showing up late. He's just not able to do anything. He turns up early, the enemy team plays reactive. He turns up late, and his team's dead. There's no winning for him right now, as some trading goes on in the top lane as well.
And great patience by the side of Volibear. You could have just backed away and done some camps, but he kind of sniffed her out of, they're sticking around, they don't want this wave to crash in because it'll lose too much. So instead he waits, pounces on the Thresh, gets actually the flash out of the Thresh and gets a nice first punch to Tristana. She goes in for a kill.
Yeah, and that's a second kill from the side of Tristana. And at the same time, Aatrox is trading out massively in the top
Oh.
lane. Flashes in with the E auto attack reset, killing the Shen, and it's 3-0 from the side of Spectre.
And if you're the side of Collective, you got to be sweating a little bit. 41 CS, 2 kills at 540. That's not anything to shake your head at. There comes a full pickaxe as well as the Noon Quiver, and it's not looking good if you're the side of Collective Sigma.
Yeah, and obviously the Tristana, this is exactly what we spoke about. She is so absurdly good at snowballing. Tristana loves being ahead early. She's got the Hail of Blaze, didn't even get the press the attack for the team fighting. She's all about this laning phase, and at the moment it is working out fantastically. Zeri obviously nowhere near as strong in this early game as Seraphine gets a lovely route onto the Trundle. The Fresh misses the hook, and he just has to walk out after shot procced, and it's just more damage and more control for Spectre.
Yeah, I mean, at least they were trying to look for something, but man, they're just missing just barely on these champions. If they can get a hook, if they can get that CC, they should be able to get a kill. I mean, Volibear still doesn't have his flash up, but at the same time, it's just difficult. You're kind of behind at the moment, so you just have to relax. As the first dragon should go over to the side of Spectre and hopefully continue, especially in Infernal. So Tristana will be able to farm and get all that solo XP by herself and just snowball this Tristana and let her carry.
Yeah, and the quicker she gets level 6, obviously she gets the Buster Shot, the Execute with the Explosive Charge. So plenty of damage for Tristana at the moment and just exerting so much pressure. The fact she's able to sit here in a 1v2 and be confident under the tower is already got to be scary for the side of Sigma.
Oh, and you got 2 kills and plenty of health potions. You're feeling comfortable yourself. And yeah, no, there's nothing this bot lane can do because she still has that rocket jump. So even if you manage to land a hook on her, she still has flash. So she still feels fairly safe and comfortable in that bot side.
Yeah, and obviously, even if she does get hooked, Tristana has the innate ability to buffer, which means her rocket jump, which is such a fantastic ability, also does not get disrupted by CC. And Aatrox in a 1v2 here obviously pops the ultimate, just healing so much. The Trundle only being level 5. Can Aatrox turn this? This is a Hashinshin moment right here. He's trying, all the way to the tower. He gets 1 auto, 2, and no, Trundle does manage to take him down before he gets the third rotation of his Q.
He was waiting for his Q to come back up because I feel like he could have turned that in the 1v2, at least on the Trundle, because he was not level 6, he was at the Subjugate. But just unfortunate, kind of ran a room. Oh, there's a tower there. Oh, that's right, that's not my tower. Just kind of stuck out in the middle of no man's land. Unfortunately, doesn't have his flash up. At least he should have teleport, which he's using now to get back to that wave. But great rotation by the Trundle. Nice pickup for the Shen, at least getting a kill, some kind of gold for the back of Collective Sigma, and trying to just clawing the way back. This game is definitely not over by any means, but small pickups like that will slowly build the confidence and get back in this game and continue fighting.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the second time that Aatrox has been in that exact same position. Obviously, the first time he was fighting in a massive minion wave, had a big advantage. Those level 4, level 3 fights are so influenced by minion waves. But once you get the Bramble Vest on the side of Shen, and once Trundle just gets some health in his champ, it's actually pretty difficult to fight a 1v2 like that. So I'm surprised he's been stuck like that 2 times in a row now, not learning from his first mistakes and, not showing them the respect that they deserve. And now Shen is actually a level up on the Aatrox, which, as a snowballing champion, like we spoke about, it's not looking great for Aatrox after that.
No, but I will say the one for the side of Sigma is looking great for is Dr. Phil and Chill, kind of the unsung story of this mid lane, up to almost 20 CS. He's been able to back, Nico did help him get Rift, but Rice has been getting the solo XP, he's been getting this farm, he's been getting tower, not tower plates the is still 5, but the fact that he's able to get these items and just essentially...
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think we've just lost Eternal for half a second, so I'm just going to take over. But yeah, no, definitely agree with that. The fact that Rise is actually so far ahead, we've been so focused on bot and top at the moment, that Rise has just been able to kind of sneakily get himself into a position where he's able to take over the game. 91 CS at 9 minutes. He might even be going for a little bit of the Doinby 200 CS at 15 minutes hack. Obviously, we're expecting him to farm well. He's a great champion for doing that. And Shen getting traded out massively. The Darken Blade doing so much damage, hitting those crucial weak points from the Shen. And Eternal, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, just kind of cut out there for a second. No, but like you said, yeah, Shen's just slowly expanding this lead mid lane. Shen is getting poked out a little bit top side, so he does have to play at least a little more cautious than that. You don't want to make this Aatrox any more fed than he needs to be, as potentially looking for a dive. Volibear is level 6.
Yeah, and the explosive charge goes down onto the Fresh, and now the Shen ultimate comes through. The Volibear having to jump out. The Zeri now spraying and praying through the whole enemy team, using her ultimate electrified just to get as much move speed, but knocked away by the Buster shot from Tristana, and that's a great disengage. Getting the Shen ult and giving Aatrox a chance to get massively ahead in this top lane with not a lot coming out of it in the bot lane.
And that's one of the big weaknesses of Shen is, yes, you do have that global ult to at least help your team, but if you don't have any way to get back in topside, you've essentially let yourself going back in for the fight.
Yeah, and she rocket jumps back in. The Seraphon Charm comes through. It does hit the Zeri, but not enough damage so far. The Trundle's now going to run him down. Doesn't have the rocket jump just yet. Is he going to get taken down? The attack comes through. The flash comes through from Zeri with the empowered auto attack. And now the Ryze is teleporting to the bot lane. They are not letting the Seraphine live, but the Volibear is here. Is it going to be enough? He does manage to potentially take down Ryze here. Yep, Ryze goes down and the Fresh goes down. That's a 2 for 2 in total, and massive commitments from the side of both teams, but Spectre probably coming out ahead.
A little bit ahead. Nico's going to get plates. Aatrox already got a couple plates topside. You got solo XP on both of those laners. I like the fact that you got the kill on Tristana, Mana Burner, and Flash, but that was just a little overzealous for the side of Dr. Phil and Chill, since you dive in the back line. You only had one minion to take the turret. You had no minion wave to protect yourself. So you at least, at the very least, you picked up another kill, but still, you should have at least taken the one free kill and just gone back to the mid lane.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's part of getting overexcited, especially on champions like Ryze, where you have the ability to just teleport around the map. It is so easy to get carried away and tower dive. And while it did look good, the Volibear reading it like a book, but the Trundle pillar comes in, the Pillar of Filth, shutting down the Volibear, and it takes him down. The Doctor, Phil, and Chill picking up the kill as well. But potentially, the Tristana could do something. But Rocket jumps over the wall. The Nico's coming in, uses the clone just to try and bait out some vision. Does manage to get the dragon on the side of Collective Sigma.
Yeah, great pickup, right? You knew Volibear doesn't have ult, could use it in the last team fight. You know he didn't burn Flash, so fantastic pillar there to essentially lock him away from the team, and nice slow, good hook by the Thresh. Easy kill, easy dragon, 900k or 900 gold difference between these two teams, and yeah, this, like I said, it's not over. You just have to slowly climb your way back, and I'm curious where they're gonna drop this rift, because I haven't seen them drop it yet, and I think it expired because I don't see it on any champion.
Yeah, that might be problematic that the Rift Herald's expired. Obviously, you want to get the early plates on that, and you know that is one of the downsides of taking it early. But Zeri feeling overly confident now that the Tristana has Kraken Slayer and still willing to jump in as the Shen taunts the Aatrox under the tower. This is a good trade for him, but not going to take it any further. The Bramble Vest obviously reducing the Aatrox's healing, and a good trade for Shen in the top lane there.
There's the Rift. I was wondering where he dropped that, so he must have dropped it right outside of base. And hey, at least he'll get a couple, plates. The other should get 2 here. Yep, perfectly fine, acceptable. Yeah, I was just curious where it was at, but yeah, no, the Aatrox is slowly going to bully the Shen out, and that's the problem. Shen has at least a couple of kills on him and some items. It doesn't matter if you're the Bramble. It doesn't matter if you have a little extra of defense on your side. Aatrox, as long as he lands those skill shots, will be able to poke you out and do a massive amount of damage in such a short time.
Yeah, and obviously that is what you kind of give up on the side of Collective Sigma in return for a global ultimate is a weaker side lane. Every time he leaves the lane, the Aatrox gets further ahead, and the Aatrox has so much inbuilt healing, and the Bramble Vest obviously does matter in these extended trades. At the same time, Aatrox is showing that with the Dark Emblade, you don't have to even auto-attack. The Bramble Vest only procs if you auto-attack, so a little difficult here to get the full healing reduction onto the Aatrox right now. And while there is obviously, like we spoke about, a big CS gap in the mid lane, there's also a massively growing one in the top lane.
Yeah, and I don't think he saw the Trundle. He's still going in here.
Yeah, but he's going to pop the World Ender here. He's going to kite it out, and this time he's feeling very confident, but that is massive. The Shen ultimate coming down onto the Trundle, but they don't follow through with it. They don't have the Shen taunt up just yet, and the World Ender with the movement speed giving Aatrox enough power to just walk out of that, and another 1v2, and Aatrox obviously not overextending as much this time, but it looks like Volibear might be looking for something in this bot lane. Walks over a pink ward. He's not going to let them walk out, but Fresh has the lands, and this is great. Just locking down the Zeri, but the Zeri's actually confident. He is far too deep. He jumps onto Zeri, doesn't manage to shut down the tower, and that is Zeri being taken down in a 1-for-1. The rocket jump comes out, getting him out of tower range, but now Ryze is here. He is ready. He misses his abilities, though. That's huge, but Rune prisons the Tristana in place, not letting them move, and Dr. Phil in chill with reactive play, double kill in the bot lane.
We talked about Rise being overzealous. That was a massive overzealous play for the side of Spectre. You're going in, your wave's not there. Tristana and Seraphine are essentially stuck behind the back line. And when Volibear went in, well, you got hooked, you have exhausted, there goes a lot of your damage. He tries to ult. At least Seraphine landed her ultimate. You still killed him, but Rise rotated down. Well, okay, you just got 2 kills from him, so whatever lead that he had in mid lane has now been expounded upon. And yeah, now you have a Collective Sigma is essentially looking pretty strong to go into this mid game.
Yeah, and they are, and they've pulled it back so well from what we thought Tristana was, or what I thought anyway. Tristana going to take over the game and just roll the enemy team. I've seen so many Tristanas get the double kill early on and just destroy the enemy bot lane. They've held on so well. The Fresh obviously giving them so much safety, and the Volibear, while having a lot of impact in these early levels, is starting to fall off a little bit. And you see the Nico just trying to trade out with the Zeri, obviously just falling further and further behind on CS compared to Rise.
Yeah, and at least they have some tower plates, and they got the first tower top lane, so at least a nice, global gold for the team essentially fall back on. But I say global gold for the team, but mostly just Aatrox. But outside of just the Aatrox and the Tristana, Nico is 0-0 and 0. There's been 13 kills at 16 minutes, so she's the only person that has not made any type of team fight in the map. So she's a lot farther behind than some other people. At least have some kills or assists under their belt. So unless she does something drastic, Rise essentially has complete control. As we see, they have control over the Rift Herald, and they're going to exchange it for the first tier tower mid.
Yeah, and it's so impressive. Rise not getting pressured at all in this mid lane. Obviously dropping the tower there, but he's rotated to the bot lane, just giving himself some space. But 176 CS at not even just coming up to 17 minutes. So that is over 10 CS per minute for this Rise, which is so massive. And, he's so confident because of it. He knows he's stronger than pretty much any champion on the map right now.
Right, and there wasn't a lot of wasn't much contest there either. You essentially had both mid laners just farming it out against each other. Well, unless you can land a root on Nico followed by ultimate, Rise can just essentially run away with that phase rush ability. And so it's very difficult to essentially lock him down unless you have multiple members committing in this mid lane.
Yeah, and it looks like Aatrox is going to teleport down. That Spectre and Sigma both want to fight this, and Aatrox is just going to run straight at them. He was posturing then, I got excited, and they're all going to run down the Rise here. This is massive. Rise might be fed, but it doesn't matter if the Darkin Blade just slices him in half, and Nico with the root shutting him down there. And are they going to still posture for this? Zeri is not that strong at the moment, and I think they have to give this. Potentially, Trundle might look like for a steal, but Shen staying in the top lane, and that is a second dragon going to the side of Spectre, and it is, of course, the Hex Tech Dragon.
That's the problem sometimes too with flanks is you might have a flank to do damage, but if you get spotted by all 5 members grouped up, well, you're dead to daggers right in their right, so they just collapsed on them, burn the flash on Volibear, no problem, easy kill, easy dragon, and fantastic whoever shot called that and everyone committed that decision. Fantastic job, because that's essentially what won that fight right there.
Yeah, exactly. And as much as Rise is ahead, obviously he wasn't tanky at that point. You could see he's just finished his Fimbulwinter, so gonna be going towards the tankier build now. But just then he had the Everfrost and the Sorcerer shoes, so he was in a bit of a fragile state. I would have liked to just see him group with the whole team and just have the protection of Fresh, Shen, and Trundle. But mistakes been made. Second dragon goes to Spectre, so that's 3 dragons in total now, and stacking towards that Hextech Soul, quite possibly one of the best dragons in the game at the moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and not only that, but it was you definitely do not want that on Zeri, let alone Tristana. So having one of these 80 carries, having that hex tag with a attack speed and lightning arcs coming from every auto attack is just so much tiny daggers and cuts going into your team over time. And Volibear might be caught out here.
Yeah, and it looks like he is. He gets taunted up, has to use the Thundering Roar just to escape, but the Trundle chomps him, and now it's a 2v2. The Nico pops her ultimate. That is a massive bloom from her, and now Trundle is running for his life. The World End has been popped, and Nico is doing massive damage out of nowhere. It feels like she has just come online, have the Proto Belt, the extra cooldown reduction from the Feedish Codex, and she is now 2-0-1, and Rise going down again as well in the bot lane.
Well, I think that from the side of Spectre, that was a fantastic route for Seraphine. Shen had the ultimate, and I noticed that the ult never went through. He got stuck in that bot lane, had to burn flash. They actually got a kill on him, and because that ultimate doesn't go through, they don't have the numbers. Trundle falls, Rise falls, and That's essentially a 3-for-1 for the side of Spectre.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic way to get themselves back into the game. Just as they looked like they were slipping and the tempo was changing, they forced two plays simultaneously on each side of the map, knowing in both scenarios they have the numbers advantage. Obviously, not having the Shen ultimate available just gives them so much room to work with. And now, like I said, the Rise is tanky, but he also has to respect the Kraken Slayer and the Phantom Dancer from the side of Tristana is not a weak combination, especially just at 20 minutes into the game.
Oh no, you don't want to be caught solo lane against this Tristana. Usually it's the opposite side. You're feeling pretty good if you've seen ADC. You just want to beat them down. But when you have these items at this point in the game, this far ahead, yeah, you're just saying, come at me. I can just beat you by myself. And Tristana having that rocket jump, having that buster shot, provides her that more disengaged survivability, even if she potentially gets caught out. And you're just adding insult to injury. You have Dragon up in 2 minutes, so I would imagine Spectre is going to be hard focused on that to essentially be on Soul Point.
Yeah, it looks like they might actually be sneaky a dragon here. It looks like Sigma has no idea, already down to 9k. They have just blue trinketed it. Are they going to get off of it? Rise obviously in the bot lane. They're going to have to potentially send a teleport. Rise is just teleporting mid. The Nico is matching us at 6k HP. The Seraphine ults. It's a great hook and cage by the side of Fresh. Zeri using her ultimate hit, electrifying herself. Great movement speed, and the Aatrox gets taken down. The Rise also takes him down, and a Pop Blossom and a Huff from Nico there, but she gets hooked as well. The Bramble Thorns are not enough, and now Nico is running, Zeri is running wild. The Seraphine gets taken down by Dr. Phil and Chill, and Zeri doing so much in that fight with only Tristana left alive, recalling on a bit of safety in that pink wall, but it looks like the Baron is going to Collective Sigma after all of that.
And that's something we talked about constantly at the draft phase in the beginning of this game. Zeri has mobility. She has protection. Yes, Shen dies, but that provided so much room for Zeri to escape Nico's ultimate. That provided so much room for her to be engaged on. Not only that, but Seraphine missed her ultimate, so she's essentially just free firing, free firing, free firing, free firing. No one's on top of her. Trundle getting the subjugate, getting the nice pillar. Again, fantastic win for the side of Sigma. This is exactly what they needed to push their, essentially come back in this game, but push their advantage and go into the late game.
Yeah, and with them coming in, just, third dragon now, fourth dragon, sorry, but the second Hextech dragon coming up. It looks like both teams once again are posturing for this. Zeri's got to be feeling a lot more confident as the Pillar of Filth and the Subjugate both on the Volibear, chunking him down to half HP. Press the attack being popped as well, doing massive damage, and Volibear already having to run off. Aatrox looking for a flank, maybe not feeling that confident. And who is going to get this second dragon? The Scuttle Crab obviously giving it the side of Sigma, and they might be looking to give it, but Nico could potentially get a steal here. But no, a good smite from Trundle as the Nico clone just walks past all of them, saying hello, waving hello, and getting a bit of information as Tristana gets that mid tower as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic play for Spectre. You're not that confident, especially what happened in the last team fight, so you just trade Dragon for a mid 2 turret, especially when they have Baron. So yeah, they'll probably get this tier 1 and tier 2, but at least you got something out of the exchange. Law of equivalent exchange sounds something you give, you must be taking. So fantastic job of Spectre, essentially pull something out of that situation.
Yeah, and obviously with the Baron minions, it is very difficult to defend, but Zeri, once again, isn't the best champion at sieging. She is all about team fighting. You can see the Tristana just stepping up and showing her presence here is enough to get them off the wave. Rise being bot lane, still farming up. Very happy to farm, of course, but not getting much done with this Baron so far. Shen might be able to make something happen top, especially considering Aatrox is looking to trade with him, and the Pillar of Filth is going to come through here, and the Aatrox not popping the World Ender just yet. He's going to get a massive bit of healing now, has the Gore Drinker and Death Dance. He can definitely 2v1 this, but the Subjugate comes down, removing his resistances. Conqueror comes up. Are they going to commit to it? The Shen taunt misses. The Trundle flashes. Doesn't manage to get anything. A great reactive flash from Aatrox hitting the Seraphine, charming the Trundle, but the Shen ultimate coming through. It's just back and forth, back and forth. And now can they get anything as the Tristana and the Volibear are walking back to them? The Fresh Lantern pulls them out. And after all of that, not a single kill on the board for either team.
And just great protection from both sides. You try and dive him, he backs away, tries to dive him back away. Got flashes out for Trundle top lane, but if you're the side of Spectre, you'd rather have your Aatrox burn the flash more so than Volibear, because Volibear can still go in, Aatrox can still go in. Trundle needs his ultimate to create space if that's essentially what this comp is designed around. Yes, you do have your pillar, but if he's trying to essentially that's a little caught out there. Shen gets a taunt. Okay, whew, that was a little scary. Didn't exactly know where they all were at, but no, it was just well, let's see if I Skull Crab. No, he's gonna get take. Oh, maybe.
Oh, who
Shen
got
got
it?
it.
Who got it? Who got
I
it?
think. I
Ah,
think.
yeah. Shen
Yeah,
got it.
Shen
Shen
got
got
it.
it. Well
Okay.
done, Shen.
I saw Volibear sticking around. He wanted it, but good job cutting it away from him so that way he couldn't get the smite off on it. But no, it's just, it's Trundle can go in, but if you don't lock down a target with multiple layer CC, that's what Shen's for. That's what that Thresh is for. Your comp essentially doesn't have a front line to create that space, and well, Zeri can auto attack all she wants, but if your front line essentially folded in on itself, your walls are exposed, and here comes the entire horde on you.
Yeah, exactly that. And we're in a little bit of a lull state right now. Obviously, both teams, 2 dragons apiece. Gold is less than 1,000 apart, so nobody has a significant lead at the moment. At this stage in the game, who do you think, is primed to take the lead? We've seen both teams so far. Both have good and bad team fights. So who do you think is in the lead or could take the lead in this next dragon fight, and why?
For the next dragon fight, I feel like it's going to be the side of Spectre, and the only reason why I say that is because if you look at items between Tristana and Zeri, Tristana has a little bit more items. Yes, Ryze definitely has more items over the Nico, but if Nico, as long as she can land, she has Zonias, so she can land a multi-layer CC Sun, Snare, followed by a Seraphine ultimate, they'll win the fight. Whereas on the side of Sigma, it's more about catching these isolated targets. Spectre, you can hit multiple. Sigma, it's very difficult to lock up more than one. So I feel the next team fight should be on the side of Spectre as long as no one gets caught out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying there. Obviously, the Zeri having the ability while everyone engages to dip and dash out of difficult scenarios, but you're right, the Nico just needs to be a little bit cheeky. Fine, one pick, but the clone gets hooked. I thought Fresh was going to take that, then it got very excited at the bait. But it looks like the side of Sigma obviously have the vision advantage right now. So potentially looking to set up a trap. They don't know where anyone is. The Zeri getting very lucky there, obviously the Nico doing a great job, actually. We were talking about people not being super proficient on Nico, but Nico's getting such good information with these clones, using them off cooldown just to scout weird corners where they don't have a lot of vision.
Right. It's fantastic usage of her clones to go out there. All right, who's here? Okay, he burns an ultimate. As it looks like another clone trying to burn it. Oh, Volibear gets hooked.
Yeah, a death sentence onto the volley bear, but will it be death for him or the Fresh? As the Fresh gets Shen ulted, Stand United comes together, and now the Zeri's popped the ultimate. A big flash stun from Nico there. Doesn't manage to hit the Zeri, and the Zeri is popping off, electrifying the entire battlefield right now, but Nico already takes down the Shen, the Zeri, and the Ryze fighting for their life. The Ryze is stuck in the pit. Zhonya's, but can't get anything out of it. The Zeri just not doing enough damage right now as he continues to kite, and now the Aatrox is chasing him down. There's 4 people running at him, but this is Zeri's opportunity. This is what Zeri loves. Just keep auto-attacking the lethal tempo stack. The Tiamat is proccing. The dragon goes down, and it looks like Zeri might continue to fight this, but no, decides just to back away, trying to take anyone out as she can, but doesn't manage to pick up anything. And a 3 for 0 for the side of Spectre as they walk to Baron.
And that's what we talked about. As long as someone can get a multi-layer CC ability, it does not matter if it's Seraphine, it does not matter if it's Nico. One of them has to land it. And if one of them lands it, the entire team can collapse on that, follow through, and yeah, you not only do you lose Dragon, you're essentially going to have to lose this Baron because you have to force this team into you.
Yeah, and obviously Zeri once again great in these tight spaces, but not doing enough damage just
That's
yet.
a flash. That's
and
bold.
That is a big rocket jump and flash buster shot coming down onto the Zeri. She's taken down. The comp is falling apart. The Ryze can't do anything. He is the tankier version of this build, which means he doesn't do that much damage at the moment until he gets his 4th and 5th completed items. And now Spectre once again just walking back to the Baron. They have the threat to be able to do it, so Sigma has to react, but it doesn't look like they're uncomfortable with turning around here.
Trundle slows in a flash up. I mean, yes, they take this a little bit slow, but they should be able to burst it down before he can even get in the pit. Yeah, they isolate him away. That's just a free Baron from the side of Spectre. And Panther, I want to do a little shout out to him because that was bold. Flashing over the wall in the face of Zeri, Buster shot on your close range saying, haha, I'm the better ADC, and then jumping over the wall of safety. Great outplay for the side of Spectre.
Yeah, and that's all about knowing your champion being so far ahead. Well, not even so far ahead, but far enough ahead that you know what, I can take this. They're not going to be able to react to this in time. And obviously, sometimes you see ADCs do that and you think to yourself, oh my goodness, you have just thrown my game. But knowing the champion there from Panea just doing a great job at getting themselves over the top, knowing their damage and jumping straight back out to safety, secured in that Baron.
There's a player in BOL. His name is, well, I don't know if he still plays the BOL. His name is Rivered. We could call him Eddie. I kind of want to screenshot that little play for him and show it to him because he's flashed before in games and hasn't exactly turned out well for him as he just kind of goes down and dies. That's how you flash, Eddie. That's how you make the play right there. But no, fantastic pick with the side of Spectre. You got Baron. You have the advantage. You're on Dragon Soul. I mean, as long as you don't overcommit and try and force a fight under these towers, you should just be able to smooth sail and just win this game.
Yeah, and with the Volibear Aatrox being so tanky with the obviously shields from Seraphine actually doing a lot more than I expected in this game. The Zeri's just not able to really get online. Every time we see Zeri hitting a power spike, and you know, you've got the Trinity Force and the Hurricane almost completed this Titanic Hydra, but just not able to make anything happen in these fights. She just seems lackluster in damage, and there isn't much damage coming from the mid lane either with Rise, obviously, like I said, on the tankier version of his build.
Yeah, and then also if you look at, we were talking about mid lane CS, look at the top lane CS. 80 CS over the Shen and up as they're trying to collapse on this
It
Aatrox.
looks like he pops the World Ender, flashes out, and burns so much. And at the same time, mid lane luckily doesn't have a wave there at the moment, so not going to lose too much for that. But at the same time, it's just, you know, it's so much overcommitment from the side of Sigma right now. They're trying so hard, but they're not respecting the World Ender and the Flash. And it just gives them so much split push pressure. And it looks like they're going to take the tier 2 in top lane.
At least they got a flash out of it, but yeah, this tower should fall. They don't have the grace to wave clear if Oliver goes in.
Volibear's just looking to shut down the tower. He's doing massive damage at the moment, but the Nico doesn't get a good of a pop blossom as last time. The tower goes down and they're all going to start kiting. The Trundle is taking a fair amount of damage, but the Zeri is full HP. Lethal Tempo is stacked and takes down the Tristana. That's crazy, and at the same time, Fresh goes down to the Seraphine. The Shen just fighting his way through it all. The Zeri is getting low, but not taking enough damage just yet, and she is kiting. She is quick, and she is going to continue with this lethal tempo. The Aatrox pops the World Ender once again, but not able to get enraged. This is what Zeri loves. But she dashes over the Warwick. Could it be too much, or is she going to get a massive 1v4 outplay here? She takes down one. The Aatrox trying to hit her with the Darkened Blade, but it's not enough. Go on, Zeri, keep going. We want to see it. She's got the movement speed, but now it's gone, and I think she's going to call it a day just there. That was crazy. I thought she was going to have them all.
Oh man, I was clenching my seat. I was like, oh, it's gonna be the outplay. Here's gonna be the Quadra. I was thinking all these big outplays, but just unfortunate that Aatrox, nice job procking Gore Drinker, getting all that health back. World Ender comes back up in time, getting the extra movement speed, keeping Seraphine and Nico alive, and luckily they got the shutdown on Tristana. But just as a tower that you just essentially have to give up, you can't sit by it. Dragon's up in 12, and this is going to be interesting. There's no Volibear on the map, so and there's no Trundle either. So will they have enough damage to burst this for the side of Spectre, or will they throw and will Collective Sigma essentially capitalize on this?
Yeah, and it looks like obviously Spectre are in a bit of a strange position right now with the Zeri. Look at her item difference from that last fight, not having the Titanic Hydra. The Titanic is going to give her so much, and it looks like obviously they want this. This is Dragon's Soul, and instantly the Darkened Blade goes in, just trying to get as much. So the Zeri has been charmed. Everyone is just getting blown up one by one. The World Ender is so much, and now the Rise is having to run for his life. The Fresh flashing out as well. The Shen obviously trying to get away. The Flay coming out from Fresh at the same time. Shen's just trying to run away, and that is a clean fight from Spectre there, trying to take down the enemy team. Doesn't get the dragon though. The dragon was actually taken by Sigma, so they could be looking to end the game here before they get a chance for another flipped soul.
Yeah, and I mean, it's essentially, okay, we'll try a dragon for 4 kills. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. At that point, it's just you can't force a dragon because you lose so much. And yeah, Trundle's have exactly the greatest wave clear. You can't clear those minions in time. You essentially have to smite the cannon minion, but if you go in, they essentially dive on you. There's Volibear with, yep, there's
He's shutting down the towers as well, not giving him a chance to subjugate. Obviously going to come through just to try and stall out. But game 1 going to the side of Spectre with an explosive finish there.
Yeah, and fantastic job. I mean, essentially, you were baiting him into the dragon. It's either, okay, we get soul and you have to back off, or if you somehow get the dragon, well, we can collapse on you, go in, and then just end the game, which is essentially what we saw right there. So, Collective Sigma was essentially behind the eight, or not, yeah, Collective Sigma was essentially behind the eight ball in a way, and they just were in a really tough spot.
Yeah, and props to the Nico. We
Yes,
said
yes,
after our long
yes,
discussion waiting for the game to load that we didn't
yes.
honestly believe that Nico was the pick, but they made it work with the comp they had. It was perfect. It set up so many resets for Tristana. It set up so many plays for Aatrox. And it wasn't all about that make or break play. It was just about providing support to the team in a way that maybe is less usual than regular. So you know what to expect when you play around the Oriana. You know what to expect when you see an Azir or a Victor, but you don't necessarily know what to expect when you see a Nico. So, fair play to picking something that's off meta and surprising us both.
And a lot of times she used her clones in a perfect situation, right? Baited out thresh hooks, got vision control, knew exactly where the enemy team was, and that's so underrated, especially if you're trying to get information to fight and contest these objectives. So she played those clones, especially in the tight situation around the jungle side of the map and around Dragon side, fantastic. Because that's essentially what won the fight. She threw a clone, Thresh burned his hook, Seraphine hits her ultimate, they all just pile in together, Nico hits her ultimate, and that was a 3-for-0. They got Bear, and that's essentially what helped Spectre close out this game.
Yeah, and we both voted obviously for Sigma in game one,
Yeah.
and I voted for a 2-0, so I'm already wrong. But that's no surprise to anyone. Obviously, week 3, we very much know I'm not very good at predictions. Uh, but yeah, overall, I think that was a fantastic game. So, any final thoughts of what Sigma could do better potentially, or what Spectre can keep doing the same to finalize themselves or bring themselves back, depending on the team?
I think Spectre's doing fine. I do believe having some type of heavy bruiser or damage top lane played dividends, especially with the Aatrox. Like I said, we saw the Graves get banned, right? We saw a couple of different other top laners of Mordekaiser.
Hmm.
So having your top laner on some sort of damage dealer is crucial. And then for Collective Sigma, they didn't exactly play the comp wrong. It was just certain situations they either forced themselves into a spot where they shouldn't have.
I definitely agree with that. And I think there's lots to take away from both teams, obviously, very close at some points. So, very interesting. But I think we're going to throw it to a quick break now, just while the games get set up for game number 2 between TA Spectre and Collective Sigma.
Let's go reverse sweep. Welcome back to game two between TA Spectre and Collective Sigma, where game one was a nice, clean, not clean, but a nice win by the side of TA Spectre, as we see Viger, Corky banned out for the side of Spectre, as well as the Lux and Zillion for the side of Sigma.
Yeah, and do we think that either team are going to ban the Tristana? No, a quick banning phase there. Seraphine taken out of the mix this time as well, but Jinx being let through. Spectre just hovering that instantly. I think they're feeling themselves after this first game. And hopefully now Spectre with that Jinx can draft around it, but obviously it could have been a bit of a bait for Sigma. Are they comfortable playing around it?
I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, Panther did a fantastic job controlling Tristana. Granted, Jinx doesn't have as much to, little weasel room, little wiggle room to get out of there, a little grease
Mm-hmm.
to the pig there. But again, Tristana and Jinx are both hyper carries. As that's another hyper carry, Kog'Maw.
Oh
All right,
my
let's go,
goodness.
let's go.
I
I'm
am
actually
not
excited for this
sure what
game.
to think about
Let's
this.
go.
I knew it was going to be Lulu. We obviously both knew the second that Lulu wasn't banned and they locked in Kog'Maw. That's the only champion you pick with Lulu. I want to see, please, Spectre, I beg you right now,
Pike,
Renata.
Pike.
No, Renata, make Kog'Maw your
Ooh,
second hyper carry for your own team. Like, it's just so smart. Like, Lulu buffs him, you ult him, little bit of hostile takeover, get the
it's
Kog'Maw to kill
true.
the Lulu, and then you kill the Kog'Maw.
That's
So,
true.
that's what I'd love to see. Obviously, one of the things about this difference in matchup is Jinx is pure damage. Cogmore likes to build tankier, so it'll be interesting to see how they build. But it looks like it's going to be Jinx Nautilus being hovered in the bot lane against Cogmore Lulu on the side of Sigma with a volley bear thrown in there as well for Spectre again.
I'm hoping not, but if it is picked in, I'm gonna say Dream Shattered, but I really hope it's not, but we'll have to see. Still hovering, still thinking, probably looks like they're probably doing another tank for the bot side to keep that Jinx safe. As coming down the last couple seconds, now is locked in. Dream Shattered. Nice pickup for the
Oh,
side of Sigma. That was banned round 2 last game for the mid laner.
yeah, and Ari, another fantastic pickup again, obviously being reworked in the last patch, giving her a lot more flexibility in team fights with the ultimate getting extra charges with kills and assists. And Aatrox and Shen banned out respectively by both teams, so neither of them want to see that in this game. Obviously, they thought that top lane for both teams potentially was a problem. Shen and Aatrox did both have some promising aspects to them, so good to see those bans. What do you think is going to come through in pick 4 and 5 for both teams here?
If on the side of Spectre, I feel like they're probably gonna pick Graves top just because the Mordekaiser is banned and Graves was banned out round 2. Could possibly not be Graves, but probably something with Hullbreaker, either Graves, Tryndamere. If it's the side of Sigma, you don't have a jungler yet. Looks like they might ban Trundle. If they don't ban Trundle, uh, you're essentially stuck between a hard place. You kind of want to save your last pick for top just to see what TA Spectre will play. So I
Mm-hmm.
would suggest picking a jungler here if you're the side of Sigma.
Yeah, and I think something supportive could be good, but also, more damage never hurts into a Jinx. Like, if Jinx dies, she's not your hyper carry anymore. So I'd potentially like to see something like a Hecarim here, just to really cause some issues. Force the early game, or even like a Xin Zhao or something. Just something to
Hecarim,
give the Cog
Zin,
more time to
Viego.
scale.
Right, right.
You
Something.
know, and a Poppy
Poppy?
pickup here, which is quite interesting. Obviously, Predator
Okay,
Poppy
okay.
can run around the map really quickly. I'm not sure if she's the best pickup, but obviously you're the one who knows everything. You're the color caster. So what do you think of the Poppy pick?
Well, it will stop Nautilus hooks from going in. 'Cause if you use I can't think of the ability. It's W, but essentially it's a nice little wall. It blocks it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ornn will be interesting because it can't exactly escape away from it. Also, Poppy does have a nice disengage as long as you can wind up her ultimate. But it's if she, so the thing is if she gets ahead, she's gonna keep bullying this Volibear.
Mm-hmm.
You stun her in the wall, you slow him, you deal damage, you push him out of jungle camps. That means you got to provide more resources to protect Volibear so he can survive his own jungle. By doing that, you allow mid lane to scale, and that's Ari, so she definitely can roam to other lanes. So that's my mindset going into that. Will it play out? I don't know, but please let that be a Xerath. I have not seen a Xerath game in a while. I'm super excited that if that's the case.
Yeah, and obviously the Spectre are
Please,
very, very committed
please.
to. Oh my goodness! Please
Oh.
don't lock it. Oh, they. I was so genuinely excited then, and then they switched to Soroka, and I'm
Why you
mildly
gotta destroy
devastated.
my hopes and
They are obviously
aspirations?
worshipping the Church of LS, keeping themselves true to the church and looking in the Soroka mid lane. My concern for Spectre this game, similar to what my concern for Sigma was last game, is Jinx is your only damage source. Obviously, I know Volibear and Ornn do a bit of damage, but Kog'Maw is great at dealing with tanky members. It's his whole kit is percent health damage. And then you have Fiora and Ari, which put out a lot more pressure in these team fights. So there is a lot more potential here for,
That's
Sigma to
right.
take over. It's the same kind of concept that we had in the first game. I would have loved to see the Xerath because it's just so much poke and it stops Kog'Maw, Ari, and Fiora, getting themselves into these places where they want to fight.
That's exactly what I was gonna mention. Is besides Jinx, where is your damage? I mean, it's you're throwing everything on top of her, and in the middle of a team fight, all Lulu has to do is polymorph. Cool. There goes your damage. There goes your attack
Mm-hmm.
speed. And then if you want to disengage, all right, well, Poppy just knocks people away. Where's your front line? You don't have one. So I get the idea. Protect the
Mm-hmm.
Jinx. Let the bot lane carry. But if she dies too early, or if this Soraka dies too early because she's playing mid, this entire comp completely falls apart, like we saw from Sigma in game one.
Yeah, and Ari is such a versatile pick here as well. The ability to kind of navigate around these tanks, and she can't ignore Volibear, and she can't ignore
Yep.
Nautilus, but she has the ability to dodge skill shots with her ultimate, get herself into the backline onto the Jinx, and then with her new passive, which gives her more health and healing and more charges of her ultimate, which is basically flashes every time she gets a takedown, it means that Jinx is in a lot of danger constantly, especially as the game goes on.
And before we go to break, what is your prediction for game two? Who are you picking?
See, it's a difficult one because I've just said all of this stuff about Sigma's comp, but based on performance from game one and the fact that I know how much of a menace Jinx is, I'm gonna actually give it to Spectre
Okay.
because I think that Fiora is obviously going to take a while to get online. I think that Ari, yes, you can navigate really well. And I believe that if the Ari shows up, if Dr. Chill really shows up this game, then they could have the edge. And Kog'Maw Lulu is obviously a terrifying combo, but Jinx is just number one ADC in my head at the moment. So
And
it's going to
right.
take Sigma a lot of hard work to get over that.
And they gave him his comfort pick for jungle, so back-to-back games playing it. I feel like the only reason I feel like Spectre definitely has a good comp, but I'm just going to side of Sigma. As long as they keep this Kog'Maw healthy, he can burst down his back lines and they don't go on top of him, and they definitely have enough support between the Poppy and the Lulu. So for this game, I'm going to take Collective Sigma for game two. And with that, we'll come to a short break and we'll be right back. Please don't go away too much. Get some snacks, get some water, and join us back for game two.
Perfect.
Welcome back to Game 2 between TA Spectre and Collective Sigma. I'm your color caster, Eternal Cries, with my play-by-play caster, Ra. Game 1 went to the side of Spectre, hoping for a rebound for Sigma, trying to force it to a Game 3, or a potential 2-0 by the side of Spectre. And it looks like we have a little bit of an invade for the side of Spectre, but Sigma's on the opposite side of the map, anticipating it just in the wrong spot.
Yeah, and I think Sigma against Spectre here. Spectre, going for a more of a team orientated invade. Like in solo queue, you know your Nautilus is running into this group here and he's going to get one shot. But I think they kind of have that idea that, they're going to stack up for the invade. They haven't seen anyone, so look, they're already like, yeah, they're
Fiora
probably
should
there,
start going
don't step
top
up.
lane. Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so a bit of solo queue versus team diff, and nothing happening in the early game. But look at Lulu; she looks so cute, and we've got look at these. The skins we've got this game are fantastic. Actually, we're just gonna have to take a moment to appreciate them. Fiora, yeah, you can just do your own thing, but look at Lulu and Cogmore; they're so pretty together.
I'd rather have Star Guardian Lulu.
Oh, but look at the Pugmore lighting up there. We're just gonna cast him and killing the blue buff here as he takes another 2 autos. Is he gonna be able to take it down? Yeah, he leaves it for the Poppy. That's a great first secure from Poppy there. And Pugmore walking to lane. He's gonna be on a leash for most of this game to the Lulu, but nothing crazy happening. Obviously, level 1, nobody invading, and Ari just pushing in the mid wave.
Well, they showed a little information because Ornn arrived to the lane late as up. He gets a little hooked on the Lulu.
Yeah, and a hook on the Lulu there, and the Glacial Augment goes down. You can see the power of Glacial Augment, obviously denying damage for the person who's been hooked or slowed by it, which can be hit onto multiple people. So a good early trade there, but nothing coming out of it.
Yeah, and this Kog'Maw, I mean, it's just constant damage, damage, damage. He's slowly taking damage over time, and the only difference is the support item, right? You have that shield, you can get essentially your health back on some of the minions, get extra gold in the pocket, and
Yeah.
again, another hook by the Nautilus.
That's smart enough to just back off there, not to take any extra damage as the shield comes through. And obviously, Nautilus exerts so much pressure compared to Lulu in this lane. It can make such a huge difference when you're trying to catch up or get ahead in CS. You can see Jinx already being slightly ahead in CS.
Yeah, 11-7, not a bad job. And despite Ornn coming late to lane, he's actually ahead in CS as well. Granted, you do have a little bit of a slow push for the side of for oh my goodness, names, the red team. I'm so sorry, Sigma. Jeez, a little bit of a slow push, 15-9. But I mean, you also look at the mid lane. Ari is essentially asserting her will over the Soraka as expected as far as the mages go. And yeah,
Yeah.
just at least the lane was kind of slowing. Volibear wants to get a protect.
Oh, and a great hook there as Volibear comes in, but the Nautilus managing to get the root, but not enough. Ignite burnt from Nautilus, but flash down from Lulu, and she is target number 1 right now as Fiora gets a nice riposte
Nice.
onto the Ornn
That
as the
should be a
Poppy
kill.
knocks her
That should
away,
be.
and that's a flash forward from both champions, the Conqueror's procs, but the Ornn turns it around with the Brittle, the knockup from the Pillar, and First Blood going to Ornn in a great turnaround.
There was just miscommunication because Poppy went in, Fiora went in, and then Fiora decided, no, I'm backing off, left the Poppy alone, and yeah, you just don't have enough damage to take him down early, and then Ornn gets a nice free kill, and you just basically blown 2 flashes, and uh-oh, Ari's a little caught out.
As free mid here, obviously Ari going to have the burn. The flash gets stunned up anyway, gets rooted in place. The Glacial Augment comes down, and is Soraka going to get given the kill? No, and no kills for Soraka. You are the support as Volibear chomps down on her for another kill, and 2-0 already for Spectre.
That's just, you got to feel a little frustrated because you thought you had to play top lane, it doesn't work out. All right, well, your bot lane's roaming up because you essentially forced bot lane. You gave him, look, here he is, another gank topside. Fiora should be dead here.
Here we go in a 2v1 situation. Can the Fiora outplay it? Doesn't manage to even riposte the stun there as Volibear walking round the map. He owns the jungle. He was born in the jungle. And 3-0 now after some great early game plays from the Volibear, asserting the dominance over the Poppy, who has a very weak early game.
Yeah, they thought the Aatrox was a problem. Well, I think the Volibear might have a problem for your game 1. Is proving again that, yeah, makes a play bot lane, burns the flash, goes mid lane, kill. With roam with nuts, goes top lane, kill. And no, it's just on the side of Spectre, he is making plays. Tyrant Rex is making these plays, putting his team on the back and just saying, all right, let's do this. Let's just make a nice 2-0, get our first win of the series, and feel start making the comeback for this team to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and you can just see the difference. The only lane that's looking even remotely different at the moment is the mid lane, with Ari obviously being 20 CS above the Soraka, but Soraka doesn't want to farm. She doesn't really care. As long as she's getting the XP, in a minute she's going to have a global ultimate. But Ornn already having called her the Forge God 2-0 with the Bami Cinder is a scary sight for the Fiora, who wants to be ahead in this lane.
Yeah, no, and you got 2 kills on him. There's not much you can do if you definitely don't have the items to trade with them evenly. So, top lane, oh, they might get a triangle on this Nautilus.
Yeah, and the Soraka obviously just being level 5 means she doesn't have as much healing, but enough to kind of sway the side of Ari and Poppy going in there. And what are Sigma going to do here? Just to get themselves back into the game? It looks like they're just kind of collapsing already. But it's still early on. But what would you like to see them do here to kind of recover what they've thrown away in this early game?
Well, I mean, top lane, unfortunately, you can't really help her out too much. Orange is essentially tanky, and if Volibear's up there, you lose that fight. You can essentially look for mid lane. I would play around mid or potentially bot. You know, Nautilus doesn't have flash. Yes, it is kind of hard to lock down the Nautilus, so that might not be the best option. But mid lane, I mean, Soraka doesn't exactly have the best way to disengage or leave, so you just constantly put pressure there and just make her really fall behind.
Yeah, it looks like Poppy is going to Hex Flash over the wall here, trying to stun the Jinx, but doesn't manage to get a good angle. The Soraka comes down, the Ori gets rooted under the tower, and the Jinx picking up a double kill here. The Cogmore
Oh
passive is going to
no.
try and pick up one as the Cogmore trades it out, and now it's Nautilus versus Lulu, the big support 1v1, as a Nautilus is just going to start slapping the Lulu. She does not have Flash, but she does have Ignite. Can she turn this around? No, she's going very low, has to shield herself, and this is the least exciting 1v1 I have seen in a very long time. Nautilus just walking out as well as Lulu. They're not managing to pull out another kill, but
Jinx rocket.
Jinx picking up a double there.
Oh. Ooh, that was close. But no, that's you gave them 3 kills again. They were just trying to force it, and you you don't need to force it. You don't have the damage. You're not ahead. You're behind. You just gave Jinx 2 kills when you shouldn't have. You gave Nautilus another kill. Like you're trying to force these plays to make up for the fact that you fell behind early. But the more that you force, the more that you try and put the square peg in the round hole and just essentially you're gonna break it. And that's essentially what they're doing. You're breaking your entire team chemistry and your mental at this point.
Yeah, and obviously Sigma did pick up the dragon, which is something to note, is that they're giving themselves at least a potential way to kind of keep themselves in this game. It allows them to stall obviously for 5 minutes longer before a soul comes up. But at the moment, the Jinx Nautilus, and this is what I said to you about, just as long as they have Jinx just terrorizing this game, and Ornn being ahead is just a bonus factor, but the Jinx being ahead and the bot lane winning out at the moment is just massive for them. And it looks like Volibear's coming in for the dive. Are they going to be able to do anything? The Volibear gets polymorph, but he is level 6. He's got his ultimate. He doesn't even use it. The Nautilus just glacial augment power once again, using that big knock up the undertow just to get him stuck in place. And at the same time in the top lane, big trades and the Ari coming in here, trying to take down the Volibear, but the Soraka healing is too much. The silence comes down, and Volibear walks out, basically unscathed after that.
And I said it. This bot lane is gonna win the game, and Poppy has been here once. Tried to force a hex flash over the wall, did not work out. And okay,
A grand challenge from Fiora here, but the call of the Forge Guns comes through, and it's not going to be enough, but a great riposte there from
nice
Fiora to take him
riposte.
down, and that's a shutdown onto the Ornn, but at the same time, the Jinx is being taken dangerously low, level 5 to level 7 on the Cogmore, but he doesn't care. The Chompers do catch him, but a massive spit from Pugmore there, getting the living artillery down on top of Jinx, and a kill back to Cogmore there. That's great for Sigma all around.
I think that was just greed at that point. I mean, Nautilus wasn't there. Jinx, I guess, was just overconfident that, yeah, I could take down Kog'Maw, but you don't exactly have as much health to play with, and you don't exactly have the damage items that you just picked up. So Kog'Maw is essentially good pickup there. Also, fantastic repost there by the side of Fiora, stunning Ornn and picking up that kill. Looked like it was going to be essentially another 2-for-0 for the side of Spectre. But yeah, I got a little bit of gold back, 1,000 gold at 9 minutes. Not too bad. At least I got a Cloud Dragon for the side of Collective Sigma, build those up. But no, it's just you have to get small wins to come back into this. And yeah, the main point Sigma has to do is you need to make sure this Kog'Maw stays alive.
Yeah, exactly that. And with the Cogmore now being 2-2, still down a little bit in CS, but he has a lot of He has a lot of passive gold in his kit alongside Lulu. Like Lulu giving attack speed, giving shields, and then having the Cogmore, basically having a Blade of the Roan King in his abilities. Doesn't necessarily need quite as much gold as the Jinx does to come online. As you see, he's already completed the tier 2 boots. Now the Jinx has matched him, but a great pickup overall, and it looks like Spectre are looking for something in the bot side, but the Glitter Lance comes through, and now Poppy is looking for the Nautilus, does hook and flashes out, and now the Ari is in big trouble. She's silent, she can't walk out because of the silence, and doesn't manage to get out alive. The Ari being taken down, the Ornn starting to get beaten up a little bit by the Fiora, and another grand challenge coming through, having to walk away there, and now the Lulu has been under depth charge, and the silence comes down onto Lulu as well. And is she going to be able to get out? She has no ultimate, and it's just come back up just there. But the Jinx picking up another kill, just all around chaos right now, and Spectre coming out ahead that time.
Yeah, it looks like they might go for potential dive. They have the wave state there as Poppy goes over the wall.
Yeah, and Poppy comes over the wall, getting a big knock up there, but it's not enough. The Cogmore just doesn't have the damage right now. The Volibear shuts down the tower just to make sure no one does enough. And now Soraka comes in with the healing, and another double kill for Jinx. 5, 2, and 3 with an 86 CS score. She is becoming a menace.
When the wheels fall off the car, it just sits on the road, and yeah, I mean, Spectre essentially had a flat tire. They changed it. All right, we're good to go. Collective Sigma, they're running on brick wheels. The car is just kind of there, but it's sputtering. It's just not even moving at this point, and now they're just trying to figure out where did we go wrong? What happened in our design? Your design was you jungler didn't go bot lane and protect this Kog'Maw. You're chasing after a Nautilus. The next pause come in, but so we'll take a little break to talk about it. You try to chase after a Nautilus with a Lulu, Kog'Maw, and a Poppy. You don't have reliable CC for that. Your Ahri essentially is on the opposite side of the map. Fantastic flash by the Volibear to dodge that charm, but she gets silenced, she gets killed, and Jinx is ahead. Volibear is ahead. Soraka doesn't need to be ahead. She's a heal tank, you know. She just runs around heal, runs around heal, and if you're the side of Sigma, you need to relax, take a deep breath, figure out what your win conditions are, and play to them. And they haven't been doing that. You've gone top twice. You're very fortunate you picked up one kill, but
Mm-hmm.
your only visit bot lane was a hex flash dive under a turret when you didn't have the best wave and you give over 3 kills. Like
Yeah.
decision making needs to be refined a little bit.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And obviously the Poppy feels good when she's ahead, but I'm surprised the Poppy doesn't have Predator, to get to these fights first. One of the great things about Poppy is the fact she's really quick and loves to just run around the map and cause chaos in every lane. But I feel like the phase rush isn't giving her what she's looking for. She needs to be in these fights early, getting the initial CC down before the enemy team has time to react, before the Volibear can get there. Because she's even and always getting there late or just on time, it feels like they always have the advantage. And you can see as the Jinx is recalling in this pause that she is going to have the Gale Force or Kraken Slayer depending on what she decides. And I just feel like it's going to get harder and harder for them to stay in this game.
And it is, and that's the thing is like we said it before. Spectre's whole comp is this Jinx. It doesn't matter if Ornn gets ahead. It doesn't matter if Valerie gets ahead. Yes, is it nice? Absolutely. You provide more dive potential, provide more, frontline. But Jinx is this team. Jinx is the face. Like that's literally you're essentially she's an icon, and like everyone's just kind of following her, right? That's the cult of Jinx, if you want to call it that. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're the side of Sigma, that should be the same thing. Kog'Maw should be the face, right? Ahri
Yeah.
essentially should be peeling, doing damage. Lulu, anyone that tries to dive, you polymorph, you make sure they stick away. Poppy sits in the back line, and then Fiora either split pushes or dives the back line to enforce pressure on them. Spectre has to go into you. They don't have to essentially set these fights up. They have to fight you. So as long as you're there in open space, it's very hard for them to fight you, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't have that luxury anymore. They're
Yeah,
so far
we're
behind, it's
back
just hard.
in. Apparently, the ADC booted up Elden Ring by accident. That is what their comms are for that little pause. I assume it was just a bit of lag, but all in all, looking pretty good. As I'm just having a small technical issue here as it's paused for a moment, but we're just The game's just reloading, obviously, after the pause, so it won't be just a moment. But yeah, I feel like the
There
saving
we go.
grace right here is the Fiora, right? The Fiora being able to sit in a side lane whilst, absorbing pressure while the Kog'Maw catches back up. I feel like that has to be the game plan going forward here.
Yeah. At this point, Plan A is falling off. Plan B has to be enacted. You essentially have to put your resources in Fura, and that's what Papa is trying to do early. Is make this strong split. I get the idea, right? Make a strong split push. Essentially, she controls top lane. They can't put as much resources bot lane. They have to address it. You essentially pull off a front line. Now you can win these fights, but it's still an Ornn. He's still a pretty tanky boy. He still has a large amount of damage with Brittle. And it's just, again, okay, you get the pick on him, but here's Volibear.
Yeah, and Bolívar in a 2v2 right now, and a grand challenge coming through onto the Ornn. You've got to take him down before the rest of the Forge God comes through, and does, and that's a great pickup for Fiora once again, getting those vital points at the right times and not allowing Ornn, and actually being ahead of him now is pretty huge. But the 2-level discrepancy in this bot lane at the moment with Jinx being ahead of it does look like they're still happy to trade into her.
Yeah, fantastic pickup. I mean, at least you got a kill, but now if you're looking at it, well, Nautilus and Soraka roamed up. If I was Ari, I would have been going down this bot lane already, and now you can force it. Jinx has no protection. She's by herself, and she has shutdown. It's fine if one of you dies. You're 0-3 at this point. If you don't get the kill, let Kog'Maw get the kill, but I mean, it's small windows where you have to look for those kind of opportunities because they're not going to present yourselves in these situations.
And a great hook coming through from Nautilus here, and just a full combo. Obviously, the Lulu ult coming through, but at the same time, the Jinx is getting dangerously low, having to flash out as well. No excitement just yet, which means she isn't going to get the increased movement speed. And can Poppy smash this Nautilus into the wall and get Kog'Maw another kill? The Ahri tries to dive onto the Jinx, and the Kog'Maw not managing to take him down. The Wish comes through last second, and Dr. Phil and Chill does pick up the kill there. And the Spirit Rush doing great work.
Yeah, it's a great pickup. I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about. Ari had to roam down to make that play happen. That's exactly what she did. And yes, they're going to drop Rift. Yes, you might take tower. That's fine. You don't have the capability to essentially challenge them in a full team fight. You have to look for these small skirmishes to essentially whittle down these numbers. Take these small 2v1, 3v2 trades. That's how you put yourself back in this game and put yourself in the driver's seat to essentially take game 2.
Yeah, and obviously the Fiora bit getting himself ahead, actually not ahead in gold at the moment, but you can start to feel the pressure from the Fiora and what she's exerting. But a bit of a large gold gap in certain lanes. Ari being ahead of Soraka, obviously, but Jinx still being 2,000 gold ahead of the Kog'Maw at the moment.
Yeah, and Jinx is in a very comfortable spot. The only thing is she needs one member around her at all times, so you're still gonna be on that babysitting duty. She's not strong enough to start walking. She's kind of crawling a bit. She's kind of feeling around her surroundings, but you still have to essentially safeguard and make sure she doesn't fall down the stairs and just throw everything away. But God forbid. I don't know why I was thinking like baby breaks his neck, and I was like, oh, that's terrible. Don't see that. But it's essentially what it is, right? You got to make sure she's protected early on, and then when she's big and strong, she can just go all right and start punching people in the mouths, and then you essentially win the game. But no, it's there. You need to have one person, if not the Volibear, then the Nautilus around her at all times.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for a repeat play, the same as last time, but doesn't manage to get the smash against the wall this time. And Soraka being down here is just scary, and they get the tower down. A flash hook onto the Kog'Maw, and hook, line, and sinker. He is dead, and it looks like they're going to go for more as Volibear jumps in with the Stormbringer, trying to deal as much damage as the Kraken Slayer, laying waste to the Lulu now, and it looks like Jinx might get a triple kill, decides to back off as Ari Spirit rushes over the wall, manages to land the charm onto the Nautilus, but it's just not enough. They're playing so reactively that they're not able to get anything done, and the Ari just feels but she's kind of walking around just existing right now, but she has 2 charges left of Spirit Rush, still nothing happening as another hook comes in. That's a fantastic hook onto the Ahri, but she flashes out. The Poppy smashes Nautilus against the wall, and now the Keeper's verdict, sending them away. Another great play from Spectre there.
Yes, fantastic. I mean, if you're just seem like you just have to give up that tower. You already lost first tower. You know, it's well, I guess they didn't lose first tower, but it's just at that point in the game, you can't defend it. right? Volibear can shut
Mhm.
off towers. Soraka's there for the constant heals. They're not going to die early and easily. You just have to give it up, swallow your losses, and just say, all right, that's fine. Make sure everyone's safe and kind of just farm up the CS a little bit. But at least they got another kill back on the Nautilus being a little over aggressive, got stuck under that turret. Good flashes, good outplay by the side of Sigma. But yeah, it's unless Fiora can get constantly ahead, it's going to be extremely hard for them to take these objectives because this is essentially going to be a free dragon for Spectre.
Yeah, and the second dragon being picked up here, and looking at the dragon, it's going to be Ocean Soul this game that they're competing for. So it's great again for both teams. Obviously, having the increased survivability, but it does look obviously on the side of Spectre at the moment. But anything can change. The Fiora, like I said, is starting to put out some massive pressure. You can see the true damage really starting to take effect as Fiora is feeling herself right now. Is she going to go for the dive? It doesn't look like it. And Kog'Maw's just stepping forward here, trying to make something happen in the mid lane, but it does look like Ornn's looking a little scared right now, obviously being just about even in levels, but taking a lot of damage in these trades.
Yeah, Nala's roaming up there to essentially make sure that he doesn't get dove on. They kind of spot him out, so they knows that all right, he's over here. Don't dive just yet. But no, like I said, we talked about Fiora is their win condition. As long as she can stay relevant and stay ahead, they can win. But if she falls behind or they collapse on her, it's going to be even worse for the situation for the side of Sigma.
Definitely, and I'd like to see Fiora try and take a 1v2 with his Nautilus and Ornn because whilst, yes, the Volibear is very strong, the Nautilus is just a CC bot,
They
but
don't
does
they don't know
Fiora
Jinx is there.
know
They don't know
that
Jinx is there
Jinx
though.
is there as well, and they're going to look for a potential 2v3? The Grand Challenge comes through, just instantly trying, but the Call of the Forge Gods, just constant CC, another kill for Jinx, getting excited. Poppy manages to flash out with the Phase Rush active just to get the extra move speed, but 8, 2, and 3 now on Jinx, 2.5 items completed. And what are they going to do? This Jinx is laying waste to their entire team.
Oh, yeah, and that was just a fantastic bait as another hook goes in by
Yeah,
Nautilus.
another hook, and the root comes through, and Jinx gets a zap onto the Poppy there, and ninth kill for Jinx as she just continues to push her lead over this side of Collective Sigma.
It's just, it's like we knew what the win condition was. You essentially have to stop them from getting to that point. And Jinx didn't exactly walk. She kind of just got leapfrog shoved into that position. Now look at that. You have Kraken Slayer with Runans. You have full boots. Kog'Maw has shield bow, which, yes, I understand you want to live these fights, but you need more consistent attacks. I feel like Kraken would just be better. You have Ornn, Volibear, and a Nautilus. And on top of that, you have a Soraka. You need to melt them as fast as possible. And I'm not a huge fan of Shield Bow. I mean, unless I'm overseeing something, but I just feel like it's suboptimal for what they need currently.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'd say Shieldbow most of the time, obviously, is a great pickup for Kog'Maw. He likes to go for a tankier variant where he just survives forever and just
Mm-hmm.
outputs massive damage. But not only is Jinx ahead, so the Shieldbow really is redundant. Like you said, there's 3 tanks. And not only 3 tanks, there's a Soraka. A boring Soraka whose entire job is to heal these 3 tanks so they never die. And I feel like you need to kill them so quickly that Soraka can't keep up. And Spectre right now getting another free Baron, and they're very good at noticing when they're able to get these Barons with basically no repercussions.
Yeah, and Ari has no flash. She's essentially by herself. They should be able to get a free kill on her.
And the instant ultimate coming in from the Nautilus gets the root as well. And the Ari just goes down. The Volibear slaps it like, not today. I am the correct animal in this game. And the bear wins against the fox.
Yeah, just like in real life, right? Bear sees the fox, bear gets the kill, and that's
Mm-hmm.
essentially what we saw right there. And if you put a hex, put a chem tank on a bear and he just has a little jetpack, well, that makes it even more terrifying. Seeing a giant hustle of fur come at your face, and yeah, no, it's just they got a fantastic Baron. They don't have the vision. They can't push up that front wave too far because they'll just collapse on them. And 7,000 gold, 21 minutes. They're definitely in the driver's seat, and you do have those little I call them tokens. You can call it, extra gold if you want, but
Mm-hmm.
they're popping next wave Oliver. Again, it's just they can't go up. They can't contest these 5v5 fights.
Yeah, and it feels like when you lock in something like a Kog'Maw, you have to have the confidence that you can bring it to the mid to late game. But the Kog'Maw is just not going to be able to do anything in these fights. He doesn't have the attack speed. He doesn't have the items. And now, once again, the Fiora, as much as she is the win condition, because of how behind the rest of her team is, she's not able to really push up and do anything, just under the fear that Volumere might be there, or Jinx might be there again.
Yeah, and it's just it feels bad because it's like you know what you have to do to win this game, but you don't have the power. You don't have the strength. It's like trying to climb a mountain and you kind of collapse on the first mile. You just don't have the strength to go on and
And a hook coming through onto the Ahri, and the Volibear jumps in instantly with the Stormbringer just taking down the tower, and on top of that, the Ahri, but the Volibear almost dies, but the Soraka healing him up already to 50% HP, plus the healing from the jungle, and are they going to re-dive this? The flash comes in, the Call of the Forge Gods as well, just firing it away at the Lulu, creating space, creating pressure. Kog'Maw, no flash, now they have to dive this. I am so convinced. The Nautilus jumps in with the hook there, hits a minion, but doesn't do anything, and the Jinx just slaps the Kog'Maw, popping the shield blow with one rocket, and another Ocean Dragon going over to Spectre here as the game keeps going in the way of Spectre.
Yeah, when we talked about it earlier in the draft phase too. As long as Spectre gets ahead, they will constantly maintain their lead. Not only is Jinx doing a large amount of damage, because Volibear is ahead, he can just dive you under turret, shut them off. He's massively tanky. He's going to get tankier. That's not gonna go away anytime soon. Jinx caught up position.
Yeah, but that is a great shutdown for Ahri. 1,000 gold straight away. The Spirit Rush along with the Poppy knocking her against the wall. It's just an instant kill. The heroic charge really being heroic there, giving Ahri a way back into this game. And now they're going to look for the Volibear as well. Great charm onto the Volibear. Can the Kog'Maw pick this up? No, the Poppy takes it. That is a bad pick up there for Poppy. Kog'Maw needed that. But two big picks here, and they are not out of this game just yet. And with those shutdowns, might be able to pull themselves a bit back.
Well, I mean, at least he got a couple shutdowns. Now that Jinx put the stopwatch, I don't think they'll be able to get a second pick on her unless they find a very odd angle where she's right next to a wall. But Poppy looks like she wants to dive this.
Yeah, and it does look like they're going to. Picking up the Soraka there, obviously, having the Wish, having the barrier, and the flash up. But, popping the barrier of Soraka is always good. It makes her a little less able to just sit in these team fights and tank everything as a hook comes through onto the Poppy, rooting her in place, just out of the tower range. And the Kog'Maw now getting ulted again. The depth charge doing so much, and the hook comes through the root as well. And it's just too much. The wild growth not able to do enough. Jinx getting excited once again. Kog'Maw 2 and 5, not spending that gold that he's been picking up. And the Ornn upgrade as well for this Jinx. Obviously the Wormfall Sacrifice is just giving her so many extra stats. It seems like Jinx is going to run away with the rest of the game.
Bye,
Poppy is running for her life. Heroic charging straight into the face. It would have been heroic if she was sacrificing herself, but she was not, as now the Fiora riposts the Call of the Forge Gods, managing to get out the increased move speed. But Volibear is on the hunt. He wants blood. He smells it. Volibear, you're not Warwick. Leave her alone. You shouldn't be running this quickly. Fiora having to flash away just to try and get out, and manages to get to safety impressively enough. But goodness me, that Volibear is scary.
Absolutely scary, and yeah, it's just a little bit, it seems like desperation on the side of Sigma. I mean, Poppy did have the Keeper's Verdict charged up, was about to unleash it, but unfortunately, because Kog'Maw stepped in her pathway, it put it on a cooldown and was not able to have it go off. So, Jinx, I mean, I can't talk enough. 11, 3, and 6, 215 CS at 25 minutes, i.e., a worm, what'd you call it? It's worm what?
There is a worm fallen sacrifice.
That item and Runins, and then you have Soraka, right? Chem Purifier. Well, you put that on Jinx, throw all the items down, and yeah, unless Jinx gets way overzealous and is just, I'm frontline Jinx, hear me roar. I believe TA Spectre should be able to win this for the next 6 minutes.
Yeah, especially now. I'm gonna ask you on a scale of 1 to 10 how much of an arcane item this is. Turbocharged Experiment has just been given to Volibear. It's an interesting name for the Chemtech. I don't even know the actual. It's thrown me off. It's such a. It is the most arcane thing I've ever heard. But yeah, no, giving Volibear extra health, armor, magic resist, and ability haste. Ahri Spirit rushes in, just trying to pick up a kill as the heroic charge comes down onto Nautilus here, and not enough damage. And you can see the Jinx just trading back in the Super Mega Death Rocket 1 HP, and she takes down the Kog'Maw.
Oh!
The passive, is it going to do enough? The Fiora's in the backline just trying to make anything happen right now, but no, doesn't hit the vital points. Ornn saying, I am the true top laner. Get that out of here, as now the Lulu goes down. It's just the Poppy and Ari left alive. Poppy, run away. Stop heroic charging into people. You just need to leave. The phase rush actually popped, but the Ari misses the charm. The Soroka healing comes through, basically mitigating that entire trade. And they're just closing out the game. TA Spectre knowing exactly what to do with this Jinx, and that is run at them as quickly as they can.
Yeah, and that should be game. I mean, they don't exactly have the greatest wave clear either, so they should be able to just get this tower, like get Jinx excited, and just end the game within the next 45 seconds. But
yeah, the Cogmor's coming in, a heroic charge into the wall for the Order, getting charmed up. The Cogmor gets at least one pick up here, but is it going to be enough? This is where we see Soroka shine, but a big shutdown once again going onto the Poppy, but maybe it's enough. The heroic charge forward, managing to catch the Soroka. She is low, but she is healing. The silence comes down, and the Nautilus is there, but this could be a throw. There is 2 more kills potentially. Ari dashes forward again, misses the charm onto the Volibear. The Volibear is running for his life. The wild growth onto the Poppy. They knock up the ground when he uses the blast cone as well, and Poppy picking up some major kills. This is Baron for the side of Collective Sigma.
Do you believe in miracles? I mean, that's essentially what happened. I thought, like, okay, well, this game's over. They can just end the game, and just one gets caught out, and then the Jinx goes down. Had stopwatch, and maybe could have prolonged it a little bit, but she goes down. Then Soraka goes down. Then Volibear goes down. This is a free Baron for Sigma. You've got 2 perfect shutdowns. You already have Fiora on the Dragon. Can Jinx possibly steal this? Okay,
yeah,
good.
And a big
Blocked
super mega Death Rocket almost comes through there, and Poppy
Oh!
just knocking away the Nautilus, but a great hook cancel there, but maybe it's too much, as now the Cogmor's going to pick up another kill. Call of the Forge God comes in to pick up one in return, and it's falling apart as Fiora on the other side of the map picking up the Ocean Dragon, denying the Ocean Soul from the side of Spectre as well, and this is the best chance they have to bring themselves back into this game.
They closed a 7,000 gold lead in just under 2 minutes. It was actually right around 11,000 gold, right at 26:30, and now they're only 3,000 gold away. If Sigma can manage to make this work and they have the items and come back, that's going to be a huge dagger in the heart for the side of Spectre. And if you're Fiora, I mean, would chains not be a bad option here? Throw that on Jinx. Jinx is the only one that's doing damage to you, right? Athena's chains, what would your opinion be?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Poppy has the Anathema's chains just to do that. But yeah, I think, you know, like you said, we take out the Jinx from this equation. You saw how quickly the team fell apart. Even if Jinx doesn't fall down first, if Jinx can't put out the damage in these fights, their team comp really is lackluster when it comes to damage. And the Cogmor is starting to get to a position, obviously, still nowhere near the items of Jinx, but there is a chance now where if they manage to eliminate this Jinx, and like you said, with the chains having the reduced tenacity, which increases stuns and lockdown, there is big potential here as Fiora is just continuously pushing the side wave. 2 cannon minions with Baron buff.
Yeah, and it's essentially up. She popped her ult. She's trying to go in,
Grand
but
challenge there, but she does not win that one. But
that's a well, it's a base race. It's a base race. Look at bot lane. They're trying to push it in to end the game.
Yeah, Call of the Forge Guards come through, and are they actually going to base race this? There's no way in a million years you beat Jinx and Nautilus. There's only one tower in the base, and whilst, yes, there is, of course, the option to Baron recall, the Soroka is doing a great job. The Cogmor takes down the Soroka here, but this could be too much too late as the Jinx is doing big damage, gets knocked away, which could stall out enough time with the Baron recalls, as now the heroic charge comes in onto Nautilus, and the Volibear gets grounded in place. Cogmor and Lulu, this is your time to shine. Big damage. The heroic charge comes down onto Jinx. She's already at quarter HP, has the stopwatch just to keep herself safe, but at the same time, Cogmor is getting taken down, or is he? As he turns around, he's auto attacking lethal tempo fully stacked. The shield bow pots, which actually saved his life there. And oh my goodness, they just keep finding just things to do. They keep finding a way back from the depths of hell.
Yeah, and they saw, okay, well, if they're going to put 4 people mid, no one's guarding bot lane, we have a wave, we can just go in and do what we want to do, and that's essentially what they did. Yes, Jinx did have burn a stopwatch, but fantastic positioning, way to just stall it out, get separation between Jinx and that front line for the Poppy and the Fiora. That's what they did, and then she's able to just hammer away. Unfortunately, you do have a Volibear and an Orange sitting right on top of this Kog'Maw, so he's not able to get that separation, and Kog'Maw does finally pick up the Rage Blade, but honestly, I feel like he does need to get a wits end to at least just shred these front lines faster.
Yeah, and obviously he has the Lord Dominate's Regard, which is going to increase his damage output as well, especially against these heavily armored up tanks that they have. Two 4 mils on the side of Spectre currently, and I think I think it's going to come down to this Ari and Poppy. I think that if they can wiggle themselves around these team fights now, there is a rather large chance they can come back into this because the Cogmore is starting to get to a point now where he is doing a lot. But the Locket upgraded to another amazing name, Reliquary of the Golden Dawn, and
What a
Moonstone
fantastic
being
name.
upgraded to Starcaster. So Ornn has upgraded every single item in every player's inventory now. So obviously more advantage for the side of Spectre, but the game's not over. We thought it was, and it's not.
It's definitely not, no. And Fiora does pick up the hull breaker, so she's eventually gonna just kind of push top lane by herself. But you have to give this dragon up. You cannot fight this dragon. If you lose any member at this dragon, you will lose the game. You have an open inhibitor bot lane. You have an open inhibitor mid lane, and that open inhibitor bot lane has fallen. So you have super minions pouring into your base. You have to give this dragon up.
But they're the side of the Spectre. They don't know at the moment that Ornn is obviously top side with no teleport, but it's not going to matter. The Cogmore flashes out. The Lulu going down instantly. That means no bust for Cogmore here as they just try and cut it out. The Jinx getting excited. The Volibear flashing in, but he does get taken down. And the Cogmore is now down as well. Super Mega Death Rocket just barely skims the side of Poppy, and Ari cutting it out at the moment. At the same time, Call of the Forge Gods comes through, not able to stop the Fiora. And in the base right now, Ari gets taken
That's
down, and
game.
it's just Poppy left to defend. Can she do anything? Heroic charge. This is your chance, Poppy. Please do something. But it doesn't look like she's going to be able to do enough. The Soroka staying alive, and Jinx taking over the game, making it a 2-0 for TA Spectre.
Yeah, and just we talked about it, right? Jinx was the face of this comp. They played it exactly right. Volibear went bot lane, burned an early flash on Lulu. Well, that gives them tempo and advantage because Nautilus can re-engage. You go mid, you get a kill on Ari. You go top, you get a kill on Fiora, and it snowballs and it snowballs. All right, cool. Failed dive. Jinx gets another 2 kills. And it snowballs. And now you have an avalanche. And it's to the point where Jinx just has so much items and peel for her you can't stop that.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's what we spoke about in the draft as well. It's just, Jinx is a powerhouse. She is the best ADC at the moment. Full stop. Like she has the best kit. The get excited, the increased attack speed just from existing in a team fight
Right.
is so crucial. And getting those kills and getting ahead early made it basically unstoppable with the tanks and the Soraka. And the Soraka was probably the more sensible pick, but I am very sad we didn't see the Xerath.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been exciting if we had Xerath. But hey, you know what? Congratulations to Spectre. That's the first win, series win that they've had so far going to week 3. That'll give them the confidence needed to go through. And it was a 2-0, so it's not like it was a 2-1. It wasn't like it was back and forth. They got a little
Mhm.
shaky in that game, too. You're almost up 10K gold. And then you just kind of almost threw away 7K. But they regrouped, they came back together, and they won. They closed it out. A win is a win. Take it, move on, and build from it.
Yeah, and fair play to them. They knew they had a plan the whole way through, and throughout they executed that plan. Yeah, like you said,
Yep.
at times they were shaky, and at times we were going, "Oh, maybe this could swing the other way." But they held true. They recovered. They kept their heads strong, and every time it looked like they might fall behind, they just went no, and they swung it around and picked themselves straight back up.
Right, and it's fantastic. And unfortunately, both the predictions were wrong. They
Hmm.
got 2-0'd. But yeah, I think for the side of Spectre, I'd have to give it to their ADC. I think they played phenomenal game 1 and game 2, and I think that'd be the MVP vote for me for this series.
Yeah, 100% the same. Obviously, every player on their team performed fantastically, but realistically, with both of the compositions, they put all of it onto the AD carry. And for that reason, I am going to vote the same.
Well, with that, it concludes our series between TA Spectre and Collective Sigma. Please join us back for week 4 for Blue Otter League, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Tuesday, March 8th, and we'll see you then.